Yo guys, what's good? Assy once again with another Exos Heroes video. Today we're going to talk about all faded and legendary attack heroes and give our opinions about them. Let's get into it. As always, we will start with the faded heroes. Rachel. He's a monster. The attack type heroes have only good faded heroes, but he's in a separate tier of itself. He increases the back row's mana by 1 permanently, as well as bringing the dishearten effect with him, lowering people's dodge and defense. With the recent change to Wrath and Dragon Scales, he got even stronger. With his passive, he weakens the opponent's barrier, since they are based on current defense. If this wasn't enough, he increases his allies' attack by 50% and speed by 20%. Wrath now also scales on current attack. To top it all off, he has a turn reset and counter. Dishearten is also the enabler for FCZN and Baraka and some 1-stars. Awakening FC. With his Awakening, he increases his critical hit by 360, bringing him to 380 without any gear. Since he is the fire type, he gains mana whenever he or an ally crits. Gaining the invulnerability and more speed when at 30% or lower makes him an even more fearsome opponent. Bathory. Rachel is undoubtedly the king, and Bathory is without question the queen of the attackers. She provides mana for the front row and puts your whole team under tranquil, meaning they can't die. I guess Bond is right, you only die twice. Her damage potential also skyrockets once she is blessed to 6-star. Bursts with 10 mana hurt, but if your team also has a good amount of mana, it wreaks havoc. Since she brings tranquil, she enables units with walk to break mana stones. Forgotten Memory FC. She will grant everybody on her team excluding herself with 20% additional health. Rudley. One, if not the strongest single target nuker in the game. 750% multipliers with his stat line is insane. Astarte is the only one who can come even close in that regard. Paired with Garth, he will grant a barrier to himself and the ally with the lowest HP based on his own maximum health. His only weakness is his critical hit, but if you can increase his speed to be the fastest on your team, FC Any can help out there. Being of the nature element gives him an overall advantage in terms of mana gain. Forgotten Memory FC. The FC will turn him from a single target nuker into an AoE utility nuker. He will inflict silence and after 5 turns steal 100% of his current health as damage, and with his S2 granting your whole team an increase in HP and defense. While in PvP, he would be best suited for a defensive team, he shines in PvE and dragons. Magi. Probably the weakest fated in this group. Annie has the same kit, with just a little bit lower base values. Based on the PvP meta, she isn't very useful since she lacks multipliers. She is a head Dragon Knight, so if you are lacking in that department, maybe slot her in and see how it goes. First Guardian FC. And we get a viable hero. Who thought it? While her multipliers don't change, having Wrath and Dragon Scales is a huge boost. Still not really relevant in PvP, but in PvE, she makes Fire Day a walk in the park. Bernadette. We got her as a freebie, and overall she is a solid hero. One of the most useful heroes early on, her high base attack and mana utilization paired with her S2 burst can deal a good amount of damage. Her S1 only costs 1 mana, which makes it spammable. Since she is a head Dragon Knight, she will be used in dragon teams frequently until you find a stronger replacement like FC Rudley. Sabrina. Basically the same as Bernadette, albeit a tick weaker. She has less damage potential due to a low base crit, and she isn't a head Dragon Knight. Nonetheless, she is a nice addition to your account, especially since she is in the lower tier of rarity. This makes it easier to get copies of her and transcend her. Let's continue with the legendaries. Duncan. Machine lacks on attackers and Duncan fills the role nicely. Currently no specific content he's commonly used in, but overall a solid unit. David Johnson. Low mana costs through the bank. Counters make him a solid hero to play with in core raid content in order to break stones effectively. And he's a pirate. Benton. Low mana cost S1 and burst damage on S3. Overall a solid hero. I haven't found many places I would use him over a starter, but he is definitely usable. Brooke. Low mana cost and good multipliers. He's a dragon hunter, so if you don't have Karina, he can definitely be an option for you, especially since he has a counter. Reverse World FC. Unbreakable Will makes him incredibly tanky, especially for an attacker. His attack stat also increases by quite a lot, making him punch harder with his sheepy Fists of Doom. Otard. A solid nuker with decently high multipliers. Personally, I love her design and I'm happy to have pulled her FC. She plays a major role in my Faraday guide, which you should check out. Awakening FC. Like all awakenings, she gains damage immunity when below 30% HP, while also increasing her speed. Same as Rachel, her critical hit increases while her block decreases. A nice buff to an overall solid nuker. Annie. Low mana cost AoE nuker. Decent stat line and easy to transcend. Basically, the cheaper version of Maggie. Forgotten Memory FC. Our first ever core reverse, a buff to previous Fate cores. She went from ignore to meta faster than you can say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. She will grant the fastest unit with 3 mana, 300% increased crit, and to top it all off, damage immunity for 2 turns. She is definitely worthy of a core jester position. Zeradin. Same kit as Annie, but weaker multipliers. Mandatory in Shelter of Avarice, so you kinda have to build him eventually. Cernando. One of 3 light attackers, with 2 of them being rares. In the Great Comparison week, but if you need a light attacker, he's actually fairly good. His critical hit buff can accelerate fights, and his burst ability isn't too shabby either. Scarlet. She is Annie with higher multipliers and slightly higher mana cost. Also used in Shelter of Avarice if you either don't have or want to use Annie. Summer Festa FC. The FC increased her multipliers as well as providing her with the Ice Shower and Summer's Blessing passive. Ice Shower can't be triggered by herself aside from Summer's Blessing, so she needs a buffer or heal over time in the team to be more effective. Summer's Blessing is a team-wide buff which grants frost damage immunity once. When the immunity is removed, she will gain a 50% attack buff. Adams. Like Zeradin, he is also one of only 3 attackers in his element. The other ones are magical rarity. However, unlike Zeradin, he packs a serious punch. With his counter, he has an easier mana gain than other Dark Heroes, making him a great choice overall. Banger Family FC. Heartstrike is a strong ability unique to the Banger family. His high multipliers and burst make him a top choice when fighting against First Guardians. Astarte. If you don't know, this little kitten is my bae. I love her, and if you don't, well, you clearly haven't opened your eyes for this powerhouse of a hero. She is the only contender to Rudley. She will nuke everything out of existence and then laugh at it. Not having an FC is usually a bummer, but for her the Unleash is so strong that an FC might actually not be worth it without a ridiculous passive. And there you have it. Quick and easy, hopefully insightful. The Fated heroes in this group are not only strong, but also viable throughout the content. We have some of the best legendaries, with probably the strongest FCs overall. Bathory and Rachel are almost game-breaking, while the others are either hard to replace or simply strong enough to just be considered for lots of content. Let me know in the comments what you think about them. If you enjoy my content, consider subscribing to my channel and give a like to the video. As always, it was a pleasure to have you here, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, enjoy the grind.